Interview mit Frank Gambale. Das habe ich heute für dich. Und zwar habe ich den Frank Gambale beim Gig in Mainz getroffen, habe ihn vorher angeschrieben und er hat sich an mich erinnert, denn ich habe 1990 bis 2000 an der Los Angeles Music Academy studiert und da war er einer der Hauptdozenten und wir hatten 1 bis 2 Tage jede Woche komplett mit Frank Gambale und er war auch die ganze Zeit da und war komischerweise da gerade nicht auf Tour. Was natürlich für mich das absolute Glück war, denn ich bin ein riesen Fan von Frank Gambale und seiner Sweep-Technik. Wir haben über alles Mögliche geredet und ganz am Schluss vom Video habe ich noch was ganz Geiles für dich. Also bleib auf jeden Fall dran bis nach dem Ende vom Interview. Da komme ich noch mal kurz und habe ein super geiles Ding für dich. Bleib also auf jeden Fall dran. Und das Interview, viel Spaß. Interview ist auf Englisch. Du kannst dir die Untertitel anschalten. Ja, er spricht halt kein Deutsch. Was will man machen? Ja, also dafür Entschuldigung, aber er spricht sehr, sehr deutlich und langsam. Alles klar, viel Spaß mit Frank Gambale. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I know you're used to hearing this in German, but he doesn't speak German, or do you?
Not very well. Schwimmbad. That's about it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Today, outside, Schwimmbad.
Yeah, exactly.
So this one is in English, but I will try to make German subtitles beneath it. So we have here the legend. The thunder from down under, as we just heard. Frank Gambale, who used
Gambale.
to be... Gambale, I'm sorry.
Gambale.
So you say it.
Gambale.
Gambale.
Yes.
Frank Gambale.
Correct. Gambale.
He used to be my professor at Los Angeles Music Academy 23 years ago.
But who's counting?
Yeah. I saw you last year. You probably didn't see me, but in Berlin.
Ah. Right.
Yeah, and we have him here, and we are for a little interview. A little interview because we are all hungry. So let's get started. I have some questions.
Okay, sure. Fire away.
What was the moment when you knew that you will become a professional musician?
Well, when I was about 13, I started playing for money. You know, playing in clubs and being paid. And it was very exciting to me as a 13-year-old to have, you know, to be earning. It was, but I started very young and I had older brothers and my oldest brother was a consummate businessman. He was always getting the jobs, the work, and finding the gigs. And he made sure we got paid well. It was great. And, and I was the young kid in the band. So that's when I realized, I want to do this. But maybe even before that, when I was 9, I played at a pop festival in front of maybe 1,000 people. I was a 9-year-old kid, and it was early in the festival, so there was only about 1,000 people. Later, there was like 20,000 in Australia.
Wow.
And they sat me on the stage. I said, "Hey, this kid plays the blues. Let him play some blues." So they let me, and I just had my feet on the end of the stage. I was sitting on the stage playing guitar. And a lot of people came up to me afterward, "Wow, great, great, great," So I went, wow, the experience of at 9 to have 1,000 people going, wow, it inspired me to want to play, and to entertain and be a musician.
So you had no motivational problems at all.
No.
Yeah, that's great. When did you start playing?
About 6 or 7. I don't exactly remember, but it was around that time.
Nice.
Yeah,
but it's
very
pretty
young.
Early that you knew that you want to do that for a living. But I mean, you had the motivation.
My brothers were both playing too.
Oh,
My brothers were both musicians also. They wanted to play, and so I was just wanting to be like them.
They still play?
No. I was the only one that was that continued on.
I have some musical questions, but first let's do the other one that's more general.
Yeah.
So tips for young guitar players that want to make a living out of music? Just not for a hobby, but who wanted to earn money now in 23, you know?
Well, you know, things have changed a lot since I started. But I think if you're a good musician, people come to you, you know? This is the thing that's important, is that you develop your skills to the highest possible level. I mean, nowadays, you know, you have apps that you can drag a chord on here and another chord, and you know, the music is all starting to sound the same. All the voicings are the same. It just sounds like program music. So I think, you know, when you sound special, when you sound different, when you sound original, I think that's a key ingredient to being a successful musician. And so learn your harmony, learn theory, understand chord construction, study composition, and be the best you can on your instrument. Make sure you have a good sound, you show up on time, and, you know, have writing skills too, music writing. To me, the people that make the most money in the music business are the composers. So you can't forget that. So you've got to be a composer. So, you know, work on your songwriting skills, study a lot of songs, analyze them, and yeah, that's a good start.
As you just mentioned the writing thing, I have one question about that. Mm-hmm. How do you come up with interesting fusion chord progressions to solo over?
Well, just any chord progressions, you know. I don't think of myself as fusion. To me, I don't like categories. People put me in this category. He's jazz, or he's rock, or he's fusion, or he's confusion.
You know? I just mean in the sense of a little more complicated, so not like A minor, F, C, G.
Well,
you know?
yeah. How do I come up with them? Well, it goes back to my first answer. You study harmony. You know, when you learn all the variations of chords and all the different voicings that are popular, major, minor, dominant, altered, triad over bass, you know, major sevenths over bass. There's a million chords. They're so fun to study there, and they all create a different sound, a different texture, a different sensation, right? And it's understanding, you know, why does a minor chord sound sad and why does a major chord sound happy? If you're going to compose, especially for film or television, if you have the opportunity to do that, you have to be able to create the mood that's required for the scene. You can do it with or without film, of course. When I write music, if I'm feeling in a sad mood, I'm going to write in minor, but I'm going to understand which harmony will get me to that sound, at least to begin, to inspire. I forgot the question, I'm sorry.
Was how you come up with interesting chord progressions.
Interesting chord progressions. Well, you know, again, it's studying harmony. To me, I love music and I love guitar so much that I study it. It's something that, it's a passion. It has to be a passion. And so, you know, if you sit at the piano or you sit at the guitar and you try move your fingers in different places, find different kinds of chords. You can have a great chord progression with 2 chords or 4 chords or 8 chords, 1 chord per bar. A lot of it is voice leading for me too, which, oftentimes the upper voice, the note that's on the top of the chord is the one that you hear the most. And so from that chord to the next, it kind of makes a melody. So, you try to find a melody that works on the highest voice of the chords and try to find four good chords that work together. Interestingly, they don't have to be in the same key. They can be random, I think people sort of think of jazz harmony as a little bit random because it can be anything, You have to follow your ear and your imagination. If you have no imagination, it's going to be hard. You have to have a lot of imagination. You go, sometimes, but it's work. It's work. It's when I sit down to write music, I sit for hours trying to find something fresh that I've never heard before. It's really hard to find chord progressions you've never heard before.
Yeah,
but the thing is too, if you want to analyze and study, you can take other people's chord progressions because chord progressions are not something you can copyright, which is very peculiar to me. Melodies you can copyright, but not, melody and the harmony together. So if you take the melody away, you can, try to take a popular chord progression or an interesting chord progression and write your own melody. That's a good place to start.
Thank you. Very good answer. So now I want to rephrase the next one because I just wrote Kiesel endorsement. I'm just going to ask you, how important is equipment for you?
Well,
the gear.
These are your tools. Of course they're important. It's like the difference between an old 1967 Volkswagen Beetle that's falling apart or a brand new BMW, 8 Series, they're different. The quality of the equipment really matters. I mean, the equipment by itself doesn't make you good or make you sound good. It's how you use it, of course. And I think endorsements are, this is something that you can get really once you're established in your career. It's really hard to get an endorsement if nobody knows who you are. This usually comes later, where people want you to use their instruments. Please use this because they know it's going to have visibility in the market. And because I use, for example, Kiesel. Well, I know the family. I know the people that are behind it. So to me, it's also important who's making the instruments. To me, it's the relationships that you have with your endorsers are very important to me. I like people that I respect and admire and who are creative and innovative also, because in my field as a musician, I like to think of myself as innovative and creative. And when I find a guitar company such as Kiesel, if you look at Kiesel's Instagram page, your eyeballs pop out. The guitars are so incredibly beautiful. Each guitar is custom made, so you have like 50,000 combinations of possibilities to make the guitars. But they've been doing stuff lately that nobody else has done. I love it. They're on the cutting edge. They bake the fretboards. You can get fretboards that match the guitar and stuff like this. I mean, the woodwork is outstanding. And I've been to the factory several times in San Diego, and beautiful people. So I love the people behind the instrument. They're creative and innovative, and it makes my job easier and better, to have great instruments. So I'm very happy with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a little bit difficult to get them in Europe because you have to import them directly from the States, so you have to pay customs. There's no return.
Well, this is
stuff that would be good to have for them to have a European distributor.
They go direct to public, and that's one of their strengths, actually, because in the end, you get a guitar that's half the price of, say, a Fender or Gibson, because Gibson and Fender, because they have distributors, all the distributors want a big percentage of the profit.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So it jacks up the prices. So because Caravan and Kiesel now go direct, there's no middlemen. You get a superior instrument. A guitar that's $2,000 with Kiesel will be $4,000 with Gibson to get the same quality of materials because there's no middle. So, I know there's no distributor, but for the consumer and the person that's going to play it, there's a big advantage to having the direct.
That's right.
Direct thing.
Yeah. Okay, last questions, because we all want to eat.
Okay.
Just tell me a little bit about Frank Gambale Online Guitar School.
Frank Gambale Online Guitar School. Well, I established it originally in 2015 with a partner, and it ran for a couple of years, but the partnership fell away, and I reestablished it in September of 2019. And
what a timing!
Yeah, right before COVID. Excellent. I like to teach without limitation. I remember even at LA Music Academy when I was teaching there, I was very limited in what I could do because of the administration saying, "Oh, well, this is too hard," or "This is too," there was too much fluff and commentary.
But it was great.
Well, you were there and you studied it, and so that's great, but it was a filtered down version of what I have on my school. My online school is really, it's like a shop. And the courses, I really videotape the courses. I spend a lot of time writing the courses and videotaping them. And so some of the courses are 10-hour video. Some of them are, my harmony and theory course is 18 hours. And I think it's the only harmony course you would ever need. And so there's some very deep courses, and there's others that are shorter, maybe 4 hours. Some things are 1 hour. It depends on the subject. But I've got obviously a 10-hour course on my sweep picking technique, which a lot of people
I have practiced that one a lot.
A lot of people want to learn that, and it's a fantastic technique.
And it has evolved.
And of course.
Since 23 years, and I saw some stuff that is like, your arpeggios are finger breakers. Some of them, the major, where you start with the third finger and you move around the fretboard. Oh my God, but I practiced them. Mm-hmm. And lately, I've been doing some sweep etude by somebody else. And because I practiced that, it was no problem. I could play it in 2 days.
Really?
And he was like, what? You can play that in 2 days? And I said, yeah, because I did that.
You studied a bit of sweep. I think it's a fantastic technique. And so there's that. I've done that, a wonderful new course, because I had to update. I wrote the first book and the first video back in the 80s about sweeping. Yeah. So as you say, I've developed a lot since the last, 30 years. So that's what the new course is all about. It brings everything up to date with the new discoveries and a million other things. You just have to go and see. It's a pretty cool site. I'm very proud of the website, and I keep adding to it, and it's growing. And
Yeah, I can only recommend that like 100 times. This is very good. And as you can hear, Frank is talking very clearly and very slowly. So even if it's English, you can understand it. Even if your English is not that good, it's very easy to understand. Mostly the music and the camera perspectives on something speaks for themselves.
Well, music is a universal language. I mean, it's the music that's important. If you can read tab, you can understand the course.
Yeah, you play it, you see the tab.
And I play it slowly,
of course. Yeah. I can only recommend it. Check it out.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Frank, thank you.
May I ask one question?
Oh, okay.
I'm playing the guitar for 3 years now.
3 years.
On my road to become kind of an intermediate, what is your most precious advice that you can give me to become more intermediate?
Well, I think studying harmony. I keep saying this. I have a really cool course called Modes, No More Mystery. It's a video I did a while ago, but I've updated it on my website. If you understand modes, it's going to help you a lot.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of confusion when it comes to modes.
Oh, yes.
And for me, I can't even play if I don't understand modes. It opens up, it unlocks a lot of mystery, a lot of about harmony. Okay. So I think that would be very helpful to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, so Frank, thank you very much for the interview.
My pleasure,
And
Bert.
we will all now go eat, and I'm very curious for the concert.
Yes, I can't wait to play.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice time.
Bye for now.
Geiler Typ, der Frank, oder? Super, alles klar im Kopf, kann unglaublich gut erklären, und das führt mich zu etwas. Frank hat nämlich eine eigene Online-Schule, wo er ganz viele Kurse hat. Also der hat fast so viel Material da drauf wie ich. Und die heißt Frank Gambales Online Guitar School. Jetzt kommt's. Ich habe nach dem Interview mit dem Frank aushandeln können, dass alle meine Zuschauer, meine Schüler von den Online-Kursen 25% off bekommen von allen Kursen. Das heißt, die Preise, die du da siehst, gelten nicht für dich. Für dich ist es 25% weniger. Wenn also der Sweep-Kurs, der kostet, glaube ich, regulär $399, der kostet dann für dich nur 299, irgendwas $. Und Leute, der Mann kann so richtig gut erklären. Der hat so richtig geil die Konzepte drin und die Videos sind echt gut gemacht. Man sieht schön groß, was er spielt. Er hat zu allem Guitar Pro Files, wo du dir dann auch langsam vorspielen lassen kannst. Also zu allem gibt es Guitar Pro und Jam-Tracks hat er dabei und die Kurse sind einfach spitze. Ich habe selbst, vor dem Interview habe ich schon, ich glaube 5 oder so gekauft. Ich habe auf jeden Fall den Sweep-Kurs, weil das ist die Masterclass, ja. Also das ist das Beste, was du zu Sweeping kriegen kannst. Da ist mein Kurs dagegen gar nichts. Der ist aber auch, ich glaube, 10 Stunden lang oder so. Dann unbedingt sein Theoriekurs. Sein Theoriekurs ist der Knaller, der ist auch ewig lang. Dann Outside Playing. Blues hat er was, und zwar ist das Spicing Up the Blues. Da zeigt er, wie man Jazzkonzepte im Blues verwendet. Und was viele nicht wissen, Frank hat, ich glaube, in Australien jahrelang nur in Bluesbands gespielt, also in richtigen Bluesbands, und hat wirklich nur Blues gespielt, ohne Düdelum. Ja? Also Frank weiß, was im Blues abgeht. Der weiß sowieso bei allem, was abgeht, und kann auch gefühlt einfach nur alles. Wenn ich dem zugucke, dann denke ich immer, ja, Und es ist immer noch, obwohl ich ihn jetzt schon über 20 Jahre kenne und ihn schon bestimmt 15 Mal live gesehen habe, es ist immer noch so, dass ich denke, wow, es ist einfach nur geil. Also, wenn sich jemand da, also ich würde sagen, du solltest schon ein paar von meinen Kursen gemacht haben, das ist nichts für Anfänger, ja. Also, wenn du Anfänger bist, solltest du lieber meine Grundkurse machen und dann dir das überlegen. Aber ansonsten, guckt euch mal die Kurse vom Frank an, und wie gesagt, für alle meine Zuschauer, die das hier sehen, 25% off, wenn du den Link unten verwendest. Also alles steht unten in der Beschreibung, was du machen musst, um die 25% zu kriegen. Alles klar, das war's aber jetzt hierzu. Mach's gut, bis dann und tschüss.